Hello friends, it's Shari, and today I'm creating this really fun Halloween card with some really cute stitching. I am going to be using the snowflake add-on for the embroidery hoop, which creates really beautiful snowflake stitching, but it will also create a perfect spider web as well. I'm using some DMC pearl cotton thread for my stitching today. So this is a little different than the 6-strand DMC floss. This is 1 strand and has a little bit more texture. You could use whatever you wanted to use to get the look that you want. This is what I'm using today. This is a gray thread and I've got my die cut from some fog cardstock, so very pale gray. Now for my stitching today, I'm going to start with the lines that go from the outside points to the center. You don't have to do this first if you don't want to, but this was a way for you to really see how this spider web takes shape. If it is easier for you to stitch the concentric circles first, then you can do that as well. So I'm going to start at the outermost points and go to the center and just work my way around, putting in all of those straight lines that go from the center to the outside points. And you can see when I do this that this breaks up the shape into 8 even pieces, and you can kind of see how the spider web will take shape. Now the reason I said that you could do this later instead of first is because it does kind of cover up some holes and you do have to sort of put your needle underneath that straight thread, which is easy to do. It's no big deal, but like I said, you stitch the way that is easiest for you. So I'm starting out by stitching the outside line. You can see I'm just following all those outside holes, doing some back stitching all the way around. And once I have this there, it kind of starts you off as a guide to help you see the rest of the lines of the stitching. So I'm just finishing up that outside line, and I am going to have to tie off my thread with this, but you can kind of see the shape taking place. So I'm tying off my thread just because I really don't have a whole lot, not even to go around one more time. So I'm just going to tie it off in a knot. I am going to make sure that when I get some more thread to do the rest, I'm going to start with a really long piece so that I don't have to tie it off again. And this piece was long enough to do all the rest of the webbing in between those vertical pieces. So you can see how it kind of takes shape, and all you do is follow along each line. Now, like I said before, I did end up with a string that was long enough to do all of these. So instead of tying off when I finish off this second circle of web, I'm just going to go right back down to the hole for the next circle and just start on that next concentric circle of the webbing. Now I'm really going to speed up my stitching here. Instead of skipping through it, I just wanted you to see how this spider web takes shape. Now when you get to the center, there is a really tiny circle that you do want to stitch around so it kind of finishes off nicely. And then just tie off the string. Now if you had done the circles first, this is where you would want to do your straight pieces that go from the center to the points. But I've already done that. So I'm just going to tie this off and trim off the tail. And then here is that cute little spider web created from the snowflake embroidery hoop add-on. Now I'm just adding some glue around the edges. And then I have cut the hoop that goes around it from some sugar plum cardstock. And then for the little screw or pin at the top, I cut that from some black glitter cardstock. And this is going to match some of the other elements you see there that are die cut from black glitter cardstock as well. So now I can work on the rest of my card. I have a piece of fake tan cardstock and I'm cutting the dotted moons and stars backdrop portrait from that cardstock. I'm adding some liquid glue all over the back and then I will layer a piece of sunflower cardstock on the back. And this is just cut slightly smaller, but it fits behind all of those openings, giving me yellow moons and stars. I will go ahead and put this panel onto a card base. Next, I'm pulling out Riley's ABC stamp set to spell out the words "to you" on a block, and I will be stamping these directly onto the background. The sentiment is going to say "Boo to you," and I'm combining some die cut letters with these stamped letters. So I'm just going to stamp the "to you" right in this void between these stars and moons. And then I can add my glittery letters. So this is Henry's ABCs, and I've cut it from some black glitter cardstock to spell out the word boo. And I like the letters kind of being all wonky and not straight. I've also cut the large spider and the small spider from the cute cobweb die set. This little spider is cut from that same glitter cardstock, and I'm going to be tucking him like he's coming out from behind my embroidery hoop. So before I glue my embroidery hoop down, I wanted to add some twine. So I have some candy corn twine that I've just wrapped around my card 3 times, and I'm tying in a bow to the left side there. I'll just trim off those long tails once I get that bow, and then I can add my embroidery hoop. Now, because this is kind of thick with that floss or that thread, I'm just adding foam squares on the outside edge. And then I'll add a little dot of liquid glue in the middle right where my knot was, and that's just to kind of hold that in place. It'll dry and then that knot will not come loose at all. Then I can pop that right onto my card base. And then I have the big spider, which is also from the cute cobweb set. And he's going to go right onto my stitch spider web. I'm going to pull out my wiggle eyes, and what I think is really fun, especially on this big spider, is to give him 2 different size eyeballs. I just think that makes him look kind of goofy and even cuter, so that's what I'm doing on him, which is really fun. And then I do have some really tiny wiggle eyes in here, and I'm going to add some to this little tiny spider too, which I think is really cute because they're almost like they're too big for his little tiny body. So it gives it a really fun, cute look. And then finally, I am pulling out the middle-sized star from the Hearts and Stars Skinny Tag set, cutting those from some cilantro cardstock and just adding a touch of green stars around. So I'm using all 5. Again, these are the medium size from that die set. And then I will add some Stardust Stickles to just the green stars so that they shimmer like the sentiment and the spider do. And then here is my finished card. I hope you've enjoyed this look at how to change that embroidery hoop snowflake add-on to be used for Halloween as well. I just think it's a really fun way to kind of stretch your dies and your supplies a little bit. I also wanted to share some fun new patterns for the embroidery hoop die. So I have Witchy Wear, which is this cute witch hat. This is Wicked Kitty, which is this cute little kitty, and you could change up the colors as well. And then there's this cute jack-o'-lantern. This is Jolly Jack. We also don't want to forget our fall patterns. So this is Pick of the Patch. Then I have Awesome Apple. You could also fill it all in red and get a really cute apple as well if you didn't want the inside. And then this is Fall Foliage, which would be fun to change up the colors as well. And all of these patterns are free to download on the Lawn Find website, and they are available now. And here's another look at that really fun Halloween card with the spider web. I hope this has inspired you to get stitching and making some of those fall and Halloween projects. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.